Welcome. I am Dr. Neva with the Neva Alliance. And as usual, I have a beautiful individual in front of me, a superstar in her own right in what she does, Karmisha Superville. Love the last name, like Superville. Hi, welcome, Karmisha. How are you?
I am well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. Thank you.
We're going to dive right in, Karmisha. We're going to talk about the event industry, specifically focusing on conferences. But before I do that, just for the audience to know who you are, give them a little
Who
bit
am
about you.
I?
What do you do? Yeah.
Of course. Well, firstly, thank you, Dr. Neva. You're such a inspiring woman. Thank you so much for creating this platform for me and for so many others. Who am I? That's such a beautiful question. It's very layered at times. It's always I'm always redefining who I am, right? But certainly, my name is Karmisha Superville. I am the founder of an amazing company called EBK Events and Consulting Services. We have been in business for the last 7 years. And we basically plan mission impact events. We work with nonprofits, organizations, corporate partners, as well as city and elected officials, planning different types of mission focused events. So wherever there's a mission, wherever there's a need, we come in and we provide that amplification in terms of connecting the client with the audience and whoever that audience is. And so we've been doing that for 7 years, planning events and consulting with different community partners as well. So in terms of the business aspect, that is who I am. I am a small business owner here in New York City. In terms of the personal aspect, I like to think of myself as a fun-loving, hard-working individual. You know, a lot of folks think I'm only business, but I'm really not. I'm a lot of layers. I love to have fun. I love to laugh. I know we live in a very heavy society. So any opportunity I get to just laugh and just have a good time, I love to do that. And I love to travel. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
who I
we have
am.
definitely have some things in common there. I think I'm a little bit more business. I don't know. I think I'm always
Yeah.
in business mode, which is, can be scary. But, Karmisha, yeah, you're a small business owner doing big things. And I know you just did a great event with your youth event, and you definitely have that, the experience under your belt, pushing through and making nobody really sees the background, the nitty gritty of putting on an event. So, Karisha, what does it take to have a successful conference? What do you think?
Yes, I think some of the key elements to a successful conference and or an event is really your core team, right? Who is on your team, right? I think also your mindset. I think before you even start planning, you have to have the right mindset because you have to understand that the journey isn't going to be an easy journey. And I think some of us think we can do it. Like if you know, Dr. Neva, you're in this coaching space, right? As a consultant and so forth. And even though you have a different layers to you, you're not a professional event planner, right? But a lot of folks, a lot of entrepreneurs, sometimes they feel like, you know what, I can't afford to hire a professional event planner. So I'm going to do that undertaking. And I think that is a misconception we have. I think you have to have the right mindset when you're thinking of planning an event, more so a conference. So here are some key elements, right? Definitely, you want to have a board. You want to create a board of trustees that you can also bounce ideas off of. You want to also have a budget, right? A budget is very imperative, especially in today's society. You need a realistic budget to create the event that you would like to have. You also have to have staffing. You also have to have a contingency plan. A lot of folks plan events, but they don't have a backup. Funny enough, I was watching something online recently, and the young lady, it was a wedding. She had a wedding, and the venue caught on fire. The venue caught on fire. And she didn't know what to do, obviously, right? That's something that you don't even think about. And she was so frantic, and her special day was ruined. But what if you have a contingency plan in place for those type of unforeseen accidents or unforeseen issues or unforeseen circumstances, because things happen. And especially in post-COVID, you definitely want to have certain things in place. You want to have policies in place. You want to have refund policies in place. You want to be able to have staff that is trained in COVID, protocols and so forth. So it's not just, I want to do an event or I want to plan a conference. You have to have a plan in place, a contingency in place. You also have to think about security. When it comes to a conference, when you're bringing in certain speakers, notable speakers, right? Elected officials, for example, to really amplify your mission or amplify the story that you're telling, right? And you want to bring in these high level individuals. Well, you got to be able to have security to secure these individuals, because again, we live in a very crazy society where there are lunatics, you know. But outside of that, just in terms of the security, you want to be able to secure your guests, because here's the thing: you want to be able, as a planner or even as a key holder in your organization, you want to be able to mitigate risk. Let me say that again. You want to be able to mitigate as much risk as possible, especially for small or medium-sized companies. One lawsuit, Dr. Neva, one lawsuit can take you under, okay? And you can never recover from that. One lawsuit or one complaint. You know, we were talking about bad reviews before we got online, right? And we were talking about just one bad review can take you under, because remember, we live in a society now where folks gravitate to negativity. We gravitate to bad reviews. So sometimes that one bad review, you might have an attorney fishing. You know, you might have a very jovial attorney that's fishing online and looked up this business, and this review seems a little sketchy. Or he or she might go and dig deeper and find more people to complain about your organization. Oh, folks don't know, it's real out here. So you have to think about all these things when you're planning an event. And the larger the event, you have to have all these protocols and contingency plan in place for emergencies. So
Yes,
it's a combination. It's a combination. Folks, I don't mean to cut you off, but folks would tell you, oh, you got to have the venues, you got to send out the RSVPs, you got to do all that. No. You got to think about the business of the event. You got to think about the business. A lot of folks don't think about the business. That's where my team and I come in. We think about the business. So on my team right now, I work. Obviously, I'm not the only one. I work with other event planners. And one of the event planners that I work with, she's out in Canada. And I love her to death. She's also certified in COVID protocol. Oh, yes, that's the thing. I didn't even know. She is certified in COVID, post-COVID protocol. She done the certification. She has done the hours. And so I included her in my business plan when I preposition a city agency. So one of the things we do here in New York City, we don't wait for money, right? We go out and we bid on different contracts, whether it be city, state, or otherwise. And so in my proposal, when I was drafting up with my team, I included her in my proposal, and I included her certification to give me an added value to someone that's reviewing that proposal. So this is the reason why we all have to think about we have to include when we consider planning an event, and also we can also use that. So from the perspective of a key person or shareholder, you can think of adding this to your plate to basically sell more tickets if that's your end goal. Like if you want to sell more tickets, you want to be able to bring in quality professionals that can add value to what you're planning.
I love what you just said, because a lot of people, they think about it, planning the event, but they're thinking about the outcome, the revenue, the money that's made, right? So you mentioned some key things there, having individuals on your team that really can help you and add value to you. And I just had the International Women's Conference, and yes, I had some lovely individuals a part of the team, but then also beyond that, I had individuals, and I'm just going to put it there, that I just personally felt like they're takers versus pouring in. They're just taken, and I believe in all aspects, you have to not just think about what you can take from an individual, but what you can give to an individual. How valuable are you a part of what they are doing, because I do believe things come back full circle. Now, within what I just said, I want you to touch a little bit about, you're having a conference and you're working, you have speakers, right? Whatever, it's motivational, inspirational, maybe they are, bringing up a specific subject matter, right? Knowledge-based speakers. What are the challenges that you find working with speakers? Because some of the things I hear, well, it's hard for me to get speaking engagements, and I need to be paid to speak. And you hear all of this, but on the other end, there are challenges working with speakers. So, Karmisha, can you put some light on that? What's your experience?
Oh man, that's such a great question. And it's funny, I'm chuckling a little bit because I was just having a conversation with a gentleman about an event that he actually just organized. He works at a nonprofit. I think he's a president. And he propositioned a very notable politician here in the New York area. I don't believe he's a politician. He's a civil rights superstar.
Yeah.
We don't want to drop no clues now.
Exactly.
But he's a big name, and so the gentleman, the founder of the organization, he was just explaining to me some of his struggles while planning his event, his gala. It was a gala, and obviously it's a nonprofit, so he's trying to raise funds. And so I think one of the hurdles when you are working with speakers, whether they're notable, well-known, or just coming up, right? I think it's a commitment. I think it's the commitment to, do they see value in the organization? Do they see value in the mission? Do they see value in the individuals that's planning the event? And I think that, honestly, Dr. Neva, is the bottom line. Folks always trying to make it look all cute and beautiful. At the end of the day, if folks see value in what they commit to, they will go and they will work wholeheartedly. You don't have to hold anyone's hands because they see value in it. And I think even when I was planning some of my events in the earlier stages, I think one of our struggles was you get folks to say yes. Oh, I was very good at getting the folks to say yes and agreeing to be a part of the conferences and so forth, but they wouldn't promote it. They would not promote it to their audience. They wouldn't talk about it. It was just like, okay, you said yes, but your audience don't know about it. So how can we have a profitable, effective, how can we really optimize your presence? It's not about using the other individual for their notoriety, but it's about, do you see value in this mission? Do you see value in this organization? And if the answer is yes, I'm gonna need you to show up in a big way. And so I think what we have to do as event producers, creators, shareholders, stakeholders, whatever the case is, I think we have to implement vetting criteria. I think it's high time that we implement vetting criteria, because what we are offering as well is an intrinsic value. It's a platform for you to share. The same way you offered me this platform to share my expertise. You're creating an experience to share that person's expertise. And so it's a mutually beneficial relationship. And I can't be the only one that's feeling like, you know what, I'm offering more than what you're giving. So I think we have to implement vetting criteria and just really speak to folks and just level with folks. Hey, do you see value in this? Do you understand why I'm doing this? And if they say yes, then you got to hold them to that contract.
I hear you, yeah. Karmisha, but some of them, and I'm telling you, I think some speakers, this is my opinion, need to get out of the mindset of I'm a superstar. If you're not a superstar, right? If you're not a superstar, because you're there, yes. It doesn't take for me, it doesn't take a lot out of you to just put the information out there, right? But some of them just they just want to show up, and they feel people is just going to be there, And I also believe you need to have your tribe cheering you on, like, hey, that's my girl, that's my guy, whatever, whosoever it might be, you know? So they need to think about that as well. So my final question, Karmisha, if and this is a trick question, do you see conferences as profitable? Now, think about it for a second. The reason why I asked this question, I know there are individuals, and I use the word conference, but I know there's certain individuals that might do seminars or fireside chats or, you know, whatever it might be. And events are not their main thing. They just use events as a vehicle to get people to their business, but they're basically abort the plans for events based on they felt like, you know, the conference they're putting in, and at the end of the day, after the conference, there's no money, right? They didn't make anything. So what are your thoughts? Is it profitable? And, you know, if it is, how can it be? Or if it's not, how can it be? Whichever way.
It is. It is. And let me just say this before I even answer that question full on. Your conference, the International Women's Conference, was amazing. And I just want to thank you for even having me be a part of it, and so many amazing women that really added value to it. So I just want you to know that. And I am looking forward for 2024 and beyond. Now, to answer your question, it is. Conferences are super important for any industry that you're in. And just think about it, Dr. Neva, a few years back, something that really stopped the world, right? This global pandemic that we all had experienced at the same time. Immediately, many companies, organizations went what? They didn't go offline. They didn't go black, like, you know, like a blackout. No, they pivoted. And many of us went online. And so there was so many conferences happening remotely. Right. And so now we have seen things a little bit have changed now, as you know, the restrictions have now been lifted and conferences are back up and running. If you go online, just do a simple Google search, you will see conference from January all the way to December of this year. So conferences are definitely profitable. It's a very lucrative billion-dollar industry. And quite frankly, the event industry is the billion-dollar industry. Events are happening every single day. And of course, now what I'm seeing that there is a hybrid, right? So you have your folks that are doing it in person, and you also have those that are also doing it online, and that combination. So that's also going to be a part of the new era, right? That we are shifting in terms of how we are experiencing these conferences. But once you have companies, once you have corporations, right, that have employees, you are going to have conferences. You are going to have real estate events. You are going to have empowerment events for women. You are going to have, millennial events. You are going financial summits. You're going to have this because people want to meet other people. People want to network with other folks and other industries. Right? So it is profitable. I think the key and the sweet spot is alignment. Aligning yourself with the right partners, strategic partners, organizations, corporations that can also provide you as a small business or enterprise with visibility. And also tapping in to their network. So like if you connect with an HBO of the world or Coca-Cola, right? If you connect with a Nike of the world, those type of big brands will definitely bring in the visibility and also the fact that other people want to be a part of it. Oh, you got OWN that's going to be co-sponsoring you or sponsoring the next event, or you got Essence that's going to be speaking at your event or have some type of activation. Oh, I'm going to be there. And then by that, you will have your speakers, you will have your folks that also want to be a part of it, and they'll start sharing information. Right now, it's all about popularity. We see that now in our community. We see that online, right? So I think it's imperative that we don't get lost in the mission, but we also include different aspects to reach our demographics. So it is.
Awesome. Karmisha, thank you so much. I know your time is precious, and I appreciate you being here speaking about your expertise. But how can they find you?
Yes, thank you again for having me. You can certainly look us up online, EBK Events LLC, EBK Events LLC. That's on social media, Instagram, Facebook. You can certainly send us an email, ebkevents@gmail.com. We kept it real simple. EBK Events with an S, LLC@gmail.com. And I'm Karmisha Superville. Look us up. We would love to work with anyone and provide them with our expertise. Thank you, Dr. Neva, for having me. Thank
You're
you.
most welcome. Until next time, bye-bye.